Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's Wonder Nature. Figured get back on here, do some videos. Excuse me. Shit's been weird. Shit's been crazy. 2020 was, for the pits. But it's 2021. We're almost a month in. Joe Biden's about to be. His inauguration is tomorrow. Like, things are looking good, right? So, I thought it was time to get back on here. So today, I'm gonna do a video. It's basically strengths and not necessarily weaknesses, but limitations that I have when reading or just using the tarot in general. So we're going to go over those. And believe me, listing a few of my limitations was a lot easier than listing my strengths. So I had to reach out to my friends and ask them what they thought my strengths were when reading for clients or just using the, like I said, the tarot in general. So let's go with limitations first. And I have 3 here because I didn't want to go too deep into limitations. So we're just gonna do 3 limitations and then I have 5 strengths. So limitations first. Number 1, spreads. I don't use tarot spreads. I've tried multiple times to use spreads, but for whatever reason, I cannot connect with the spread itself and the questions that each spot has. I think it literally is my brain cannot work on the multiple levels that it takes to do the spreads, right? So like when you're shuffling or whatever for a spread and each card position has a question in this certain, scenario, right? While you're shuffling, you have to be thinking about, did these questions and this spread and this and that, and I just can't. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to get into them more in the future when I eventually go to online readings. I do 100% in-person readings as of right now, so I eventually want to go to online readings, and I think with online readings I will try to be using spreads more. So it may not be a limitation for long, and that's why I wanted to call them limitations instead of like weaknesses, because a limitation you can always move past it. The word weakness just to me makes it seem like it's something that, is not going to be as easily overcome. And all of these can. It's just, takes time. Number 2, using tarot and oracle together. So as you all know, the majority of my decks are tarot. I do have some oracle decks and I love them. They're beautiful. The artistry is amazing. They have wonderful messages. Most of them have very clear and concise messages. But for whatever reason, and I'm getting better, but for whatever reason, I find it difficult to pair the 2 together when doing readings. Now I do pull an oracle card every now and then, just to get like clarification on like with a client when I'm reading for them, but that's as far as it goes because too many oracle cards and Like, I just can't. So that's another thing that I'm going to be trying to work on and trying to improve on, is merging the two together. I have tried in my daily draws to draw tarot and oracle. I don't do that every day, so I may try and do that more often just to get into the habit of reading them both together. Then, three, number 3, having more than 2 people around during a reading. Now, this goes hand in hand with where I am an empath. I find that when I am reading for a client, if there is more than, so like, okay, so most of my clients will like bring a friend, which is fine. It's completely fine. Like, I don't have a problem, with them like bringing a friend with them. But if there's more than one other person there, I get a lot of input, I'll say. I get a lot of things coming at me, and it's hard for me to focus solely on the client and connecting with them and then connecting with the cards. So sometimes I've had to let people know, like, hey, like, you can only have, like one person with you, like I can't be reading for like, or being influenced by like 5 different people, or the place that I used to read at, they're actually closed down for renovations right now. But when I would read there, I would have my own like separate little like space that was kind of away from everyone, so that I wasn't, like I said, influenced, by other people. And sometimes people don't like it when you tell them that they can't bring, as many people as they want, or they get kind of annoyed, but it is what it is, right? So those are my 3 limitations: spreads, using tarot and oracle decks together, and then having more than 2 people around during a reading. Now, on to the strengths. So one of my main strengths that I think I do have is that I do read 100% intuitively. And that's not me saying that, because like, you will never find 2 readers who are exactly the same. Everyone reads differently. Everyone has their own way of doing things. Everyone, has their own opinions on things. And this is just my opinion, because intuitive reading comes more easily to me. And because I am an intuitive reader, and with my empathy, it's very easy for me to connect with the client and to kind of just feel what they need in that moment, so I can help them have the conversation, that they're wanting to have. Because that's how I look at my readings as well, is that it's just me and them, and we're just having a conversation, right? We're just having a conversation about concerns or questions, that they may have. And me reading intuitively just helps me kind of dial in and get clear messages on what needs to come through. Which that was my second strength too, is I can connect easily with people, as long as there aren't, too many distractions around or too many people. Like I said, with my limitation of having more than like 2 people, as long as there are not any distractions like that, then I can connect very easily with people, as long as, and I will say this, as long as they want me to connect, or as long as they are open. Because I have read for clients who come into it with very high walls, and they won't let those walls down for me to fully connect. Now, they still left the reading satisfied, but it wasn't on the level that it could have been if they had just lowered their walls so that we could have a legitimate conversation. I am also, now these next 3 are things that my friends said when I asked them. Hi, Odie. Odie came to visit. Hi, bumpers. So next one is, I'm good at making clients comfortable. And one of my main things that I do to make clients comfortable is that before I even start reading or before I even touch cards, I literally just say, hey, do you have any questions? Like, I'm open and willing, to answer like any questions you have about the process or about how I do what I do or anything like that. Because as long as someone comes from a place of like legitimate like curiosity and being respectful and just genuinely wanting to learn or wanting to know, I will answer usually whatever question that they have. So I do make people pretty comfortable, and I take that as a very high compliment, because as someone who, I find it very difficult to be comfortable in a lot of social situations or a lot of new situations. I take that as a very high compliment, because I myself find it very difficult to find that in certain situations. But number 4, one of my strengths, and this kind of ties into making them feel comfortable or making them feel a part of the process, but I haven't heard of a lot of readers doing this. And if you have, and if you know of other readers who do this, let me know, because so far I'm the only one who does this. When I am reading for a client, I will bring multiple decks with me, and I let them choose which deck they want me to read with. Now, this is twofold, because number 1, they get involved in the process more than them just, sitting down, asking their questions, and then I deal with the cards. Like, they're touching the cards, they're looking at them, they're invested in what deck that they're choosing. But then also, because they have chosen this deck, I feel, or, whatever deck they choose, I feel like it also makes them more comfortable with the process, because they've been involved in one key part of said process, right? And then number 5, my friend Salt, she said that this is one of my strengths as well. Salt and friend Cindy said most of the time I tell my clients so I have them shuffle the deck, so I have them choose a deck, then I have them shuffle the deck and think about their question, or like what they want answered, and then once they feel like they're ready to be done, they hand it to me, and then we start. I tell them, and this is also something I do to help them feel more comfortable, I tell them that they don't have to tell me their question. Like, as long as they had a clear, concise question or thought or, intent in their mind while they were shuffling, they don't have to tell me their question. So once I deal out the cards and then we start having a conversation, 9 times out of 10, by like the 3rd card, people are like, oh, well, like, this was my question. And, I think it makes them feel more comfortable, because sometimes the questions that people ask are of a very personal nature, or they're of a very like sensitive nature, or very and they, especially if it's a first time client, someone who I haven't read for before, this makes them more comfortable. And that's what I strive to do. Like, I want to make people comfortable. I want people to feel comfortable coming back to me for me to read their cards. And I do have a few clients who are repeat clients. But that's my end goal, is just when I'm reading for a client is to make them comfortable, make them feel like they're a part of the process, make them feel like after the reading is done, like I want them to leave my space feeling like they, either have answers they were wanting, or because this can happen too when someone has like a very specific question and the cards don't give like a definitive answer. Even if they don't get a definitive answer, I still want them to be comfortable with the answers that they were given. Still be comfortable in, I guess, the not knowing, the like not getting a definite yes or no, or definite, like this is what I wanted to hear, things like that. Because as readers, we also have those moments where what you're going to say can come off as very harsh or very mean, or, and you might not want to say those things. But, when I'm in the middle of, so when I'm doing my readings, I think I've talked about this before, I do what I call, like free speech, or like free speaking. And I don't really know what I'm saying at the time. But most of the time, if I get a thought or get like a message that I know is going to come off as harsh, I will pause and I'll be like, okay, like I'm getting something and this may come off as harsh, like I don't mean it to come off as harsh, but it may come off as harsh, just to like prepare, just so they can prepare themselves, for me to be kind of not the nice reader that I usually generally am. But I think I'm going to deep dive more into this when I do more shadow work. I think these limitations and things like that would be very good exercises. But yeah, those were my strengths and limitations. It's good to be back. I'm really happy. I'm making videos again. I'm also on TikTok now. wonderxviii. I've made two of the TikToks. So if you want to follow me on there, you can. And of course, I'm on Instagram. wonderxviii. And then, yeah, you can follow me. And then I'm also you can find me on Facebook with the Bound Brewed, y'all. That is my business with my friend Katie. So yeah, reach out, find me. Let's have discussions, right? Also, if you would like to get a reading from me, you can either DM me on Instagram or TikTok, or you can message, Bound Brewed, y'all, on Facebook. Just, say in the message, hey, I'd like a reading, and then we'll figure things out. Yeah. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Blessings and growth, and I will see you next time. Bye.